When Nintendo first announced this whole GameKey card concept, I think I was fairly optimistic about it. I suppose I just trusted their sort of commitment to physical games as a business. So I didn't, in my wildest dreams, see us getting to this point. So I don't know what kind of video this is. Maybe it's just a wake for physical media or something. But this is bad, right? Nearly every third-party game, minus Cyberpunk and stuff being released by Marvelous, at least in the West, are these game key cards. So I guess real quickly, if you don't know what that means, it's essentially a cartridge that is the license for a game rather than a cartridge that actually has the game data on it. And this is sort of what's been happening on PlayStation and Xbox for a long time now, but it's finally made its way to Nintendo. Now, Nintendo's had its own share of problems with physical media in the last generation as well, don't get me wrong. There were some games that were partial downloads. There were some games which were code in a box, which was you go to a retail store, you get a plastic box, and inside there is a code for the download. Now the keycard stuff, and I still stand by this at least, they are better than the code in a box, because at least you can resell a game keycard, you can loan out a game keycard. It has those advantages of physical media, and there's two things here. One, it still at the end of the day is a digital game. I don't really like the way that some people who are writing about the game keycard stuff are calling them physical releases. It's a physical release in like the most literal sense, in that like physically this game is connected to a cartridge, but that's it. It's not physical in the sense that we would sort of expect up to this point. And the other thing, and the thing that really made me want to make this video quick, is just like the code in the box are still around. They're still happening. How did this happen? One of the like potential major benefits of the keycard format was that you have a game that is too big for the 64 gig cartridges, right? You put it on a game key card. Okay, you got some of that benefit of physical games. You can trade, lend, resell, yada yada. But the game's file size is too high capacity for the cartridge. Okay, it's a download. And you know, those of us who like boxes, for lack of a better way to put it, we get kind of serviced in that sense too. But then I saw Split Fiction. It's a download code. Civ 7 is a download code. Why? I don't understand for the life of me. There's now a cheaper alternative to doing the download codes in a box, and they are still doing it. I think one possible ray of hope in this whole situation is that, with Marvelous at least, it's only a game key in Japan, and in the West it'll be a game card, and I don't know if that's something we'll see more of. Maybe there'll be more true physical releases in the West, but I don't know. And maybe this is like kind of old man yelling at cloud stuff, because like I said, this sort of thing has been happening for a while now in the games industry at large, but it kind of makes me sad when I think back to when I was a kid and I could go to GameStop, I could lay down like $10 for Donkey Kong on Game Boy, and then I can play that game instantly on the car ride home. I can play that game before I leave the store. You know what I mean? And maybe that kind of example isn't totally fair, because for a long time now, even with games that are fully on the cartridge, you still need to like have the firmware up to date first, right? I think it's been that way since like 3DS at least. But still, this younger generation of game players are never going to be able to have that experience, and it was really cool. I played so many games that way. I mean, Nintendo, right? So they're doing all their stuff on actual game cards. Cyberpunk is a really nice third-party get that'll be on the game card. But that is like a tiny fraction of the games being released on this device. And not to doom too much, but how long is this going to last? Is Nintendo truly going to be committed to the game card ecosystem if they, are looking around and saying, okay, people are fine with this GameKey thing, actually. It's not that big of a deal, and it would, potentially be cost saving. Maybe. Who knows, actually? We don't really know what's going on with Switch 2 cartridges. The rumor has sort of been that there's only two options, like a high capacity 64 gig and then a ultra low capacity GameKey. It's kind of unclear right now, but I don't know. If they care about physical media, they need to figure it out. I think this whole thing has kind of been building for a while now, but I will say the real tipping point for me was when I saw that Limited Run Games, a company that their whole ethos is releasing physical games, their first Switch 2 release is going to be a GameKey card. Now listen, in fairness, this isn't one of their numbered titles or anything. It's more like a partnered release. I think it might even be more accurate to call them a distributor rather than a publisher in this sense. I don't know, it's a little bit weird, so that is some fairness to them, but still, we're having this essentially boutique physical game company put out a fake digital game. It'll be interesting to see how this develops across the generation. My cynical bet is that the GameKey stuff is just going to become more and more prevalent. I know it's hard to see how, but I'm thinking that every release is going to be a GameKey card by the end, including first-party games. That's my doomer outlook on it. I think optimism kind of bit us in the rear on this one.